is the 8th day of June 2011. Bilderberg 2011 kicks off officially tomorrow and runs through Sunday afternoon. And we caught them with their pants down. A lot of times Jim Tucker, Daniel Estlin, and other Bilderberg sleuths, myself included in Canada, get stopped when you fly into the country and sometimes turned back. And I was once held, along with Aaron and Ryan Slickeisen, for 15 hours and screamed at in Canada that I wouldn't be allowed to go cover the conference. But media heard about it, got there, and they released us. So I didn't tell you that Aaron Dykes of Infowars.com, filmmaker, video editor, webmaster, was going. He is there. He got in at 8 o'clock in the morning Swiss time. Paul Watson got in last night. They met in Zurich and got into St. Moritz, where they're meeting. And right now are going around to the two different mountaintop luxury hotels to confirm exactly where it's at. And coming up in about 10 minutes, we're going to be talking to them via cell phone. Then later they're going to go back to their hotel in the third hour and join us via video Skype. They are uploading via Justin TV, Quicks, and my Facebook, as well as Twitter.com, Real Alex Jones, different quick videos shot from their iPhone 4s on the ground. They're also shooting high-quality photos and video that are being uploaded and updated as we speak at Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. This is breaking in the English media. It is nowhere in the English-speaking world's media, but it is in the front page of several other newspapers. And Watson and Dykes shot video of this and uploaded it just a few hours ago, and that's in the articles that are posted right now. Major Swiss newspaper gives Bilderberg front page coverage. There's also another report. Prominent Swiss politician calls for arrest of Henry Kissinger. But the newest report, in fact, let me just pull this up, is at Infowars.com, and the Swiss news is reporting, major Swiss news is reporting that they are set to decide the new IMF head because Dominique Strauss-Kahn has stepped down because of the latest scandal. And that is a PrisonPlanet.com article. Bilderberg to decide IMF head. Kurt Nimmo is adding some of the videos. In fact, some of the videos are already there that were uploaded just an hour or so ago to Justin TV. They're to the side of Aaron and Paul on the ground, as well as photos. Matt Ryan is uploading the latest photos to Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com, but they're already instantly all being sent to Twitter.com, Real Alex Jones. Twitter.com, Real Alex Jones. We're also launching, because turnabout's fair play. Yeah, the term comes from Glenn Beck, Extreme Insider. We've got the Infowars Insider because it is direct email to you with exclusive videos, articles, and photos. That's going to be launched Friday. You can sign up for free, topinfowars.com, the Infowars Insider. Speaking of that, I saw Glenn Beck's new Glenn Beck TV thing, and it's, get the 4th hour of Overdrive. It's basically the PrisonPlanet.tv model. It's The Truth Lives Here, and great. And Beck says it's a next-generation network, directly to the people. That's what I've been building the last 2 years, and we're going to launch before he launches September 12th. We're going to be launching. We already see some in the new studios. We got 3 new studios over there. One with the Charlie Rose look, one with a chroma key, another with a set that's been built. So there it is. Very exciting, and that's what's scaring the establishment media and the government. That's why they're moving to try to block alternative media right now. Admittedly, they are in total panic mode, and the UN's trying to pass all these live videos streaming from Switzerland, Bilderberg 2011, with our reporters, Aaron Dykes and Paul Watson, in the field. We are streaming live video for PrisonPlanet.tv members and viewers as well. Right now, there is Jim Tucker and other press. Jim Tucker, of course, 35 years covering Bilderberg, even back when the media said he was insane, it didn't exist. Royalty, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers meeting in secret. We've gotten their documents over the years where they openly push to abolish national sovereignty, private property for the general public, and bring in a global neo-colonial feudal serf carbon tax to shut down all human activity not authorized by them. And so Jim Tucker is being interviewed on the ground. Let's fade up the audio right now, live from Switzerland. Here it is. Right when I went to him, Tucker stopped talking. We've got a $150,000 Mercedes pulling up and looking at him, a servant of the Bilderbergs, no doubt, turning into the hotel. Looks like Bilderberg folks are already arriving. This is live video, guys, so make sure on the radio we're running the delay. Oh, yeah, they got police there outside the hotel. This is definitely Bilderberg. Again, right now, Matt Ryan is embedding the Justin TV free version of this. It's also simulcast at prisonplanet.tv to infowars.com.
And, easy, went straight through. No 10-hour interrogation for Aaron this time. No.
There's Paul Watson. Okay, and the video feed cut. So they went to the hotel where they believed it was being held. They got there. There's checkpoints. There's police. You're not going up there. There's already a bunch of press. So there you have it live. I told you it's going to be absolutely jam-packed. If you're a radio listener and just tuned in, this is the new media. This is the integration of the long-form, lots of guests, lots of news, lots of information that talk radio can provide, integrated with all the new technologies that are becoming more and more reliable, video, Skype, and other systems to be able to send our reporters all over the world and bring it to you uncensored by the globalists. Remember, 3 years ago, Obama and Hillary met secretly at Bilderberg in Virginia. We were there. The whole world didn't know for a day where Hillary and Obama were. They were in there making the deal for him to be president, her to step down. We predicted it before it happened from our sources inside. We called all the major national media, and they said, we want to come down there, but we're not allowed to. No newspapers, nothing, no mainstream media. While it was the top story in the country, in early June for a day, where is Obama and Hillary? Remember, Obama loaded all the people in Dulles, a few miles away from where they were meeting, onto the plane, said he was getting on, and the plane took off, closed the doors. They said, where's Obama? They actually shanghaied, kidnapped the reporters. Remember that big national story? So they wouldn't follow Obama so he could go to that meeting. Even when we then called them and said, here he is. The motorcade just went in, him and Hillary. Secret Service with machine guns. Marines in plain clothes. They said, sorry, we don't cover that. Now, we are breaking that media blockade, and that's why talk radio has always broken the establishment control blockade. That's why they tried to have the fairness doctrine for it. That's why they want to bring it back. It's why they want FCC fairness doctrine on the Internet, as the White House regulations czar Cass Sunstein has written. They do not want you getting what you are about to get here today. Now, as soon as you get Watson and them, it's great to show the crowds of reporters something they dread and hate. But let's go up and talk to the police. Let's show that video of them being turned away. All of this being archived right now as well at prisonplanet.tv and at the Justin TV channel. It's now up live at infowars.com. Exclusive live video and photos from Bilderberg, continually updated. This year's Bilderberg meeting is underway in Switzerland, and we have reporters on the ground bringing us powerful images and video from the scene. And on screen right now, we have a photo taken by one of our crew. That was a video. The video had frozen. Continuing, the article will continually be updated with the latest images and video from St. Moritz, Switzerland. And you can go see some of those incredible high-def photos. We do have Paul Joseph Watson. Let's put him up. Paul, joining us via cell phone. Tell us the name of the hotel, exactly where you are in St. Moritz, what you're witnessing there, and then as soon as you get off, I want you to just do some panning video shots of the castle, the hotel, of the police, and I want you to go up with Tucker, as we always do, or yourself, and be turned away. I want you to go up and have them tell you that you're turned away, just to show folks exactly what's going on. Paul Watson.
Hello, Alex. Yeah, we're just down the hill from the Hotel Savretta, which is the hotel that Bilderberg are meeting at. There was speculation that it would be the Kempinski, but we drove there earlier and there was no activity, so we've located the hotel. There's an excellent shot of the hotel from just up the road, and that's where we're going to head in a moment. We're gathered with the journalists from We Are Change, Luke Brodowski, etc., of course, Jim Tucker. And we've been broadcasting on Justin TV numerous videos, so people can check out that Alex Jones channel for the live coverage and the archive videos. But we're just at the bottom of the hill, just in front of the security barrier. There's private security, there's police. And as Luke Radowski was saying in the Justin TV video that we were just broadcasting live, people have been asked for their ID and passports, and Luke's passport was actually taken from him and held for 30 minutes. So the police are just saying that if you don't give us your ID, we're going to arrest you. And that's what's happening at the moment. So we're about to head up the hill and get shots of the actual hotel itself. Okay, are you saying you don't recommend then going up to the police line because you don't want them to grab your passport? You can actually walk up the hill and get a shot of the hotel without breaking any kind of police barrier. So, but to be clear, I mean, Paul, to be clear, Luke Radowski, founder of We Are Change, who's there reporting for RT, he went up there just to the police line to talk to them, and they grabbed his, they demanded his passport? Yeah, they held it for at least half an hour until he got it back. Well, that's a major news blurb that we need to get you to Twitter out. Then we'll have Kurt Nimmo or Matt Ryan both doing great jobs putting together your reporting. That reporter Luke Radowski, RT reporter, had passport taken by Swiss police. Reporter has passport taken by Swiss police at Bilderberg. Police guarding Bilderberg take reporter's passport and then explain they gave it back 30 minutes and the detail. We need to get a few paragraphs out on that. That's very newsworthy. But I also don't want to give away strategy. I want to talk to you as soon as we go to break here in a few minutes to give you some directives, Paul. But I think it's important that at least one of you does go up there, even if they do take the passport. Let it be a diplomatic row that you just as a reporter walk up and say, what's going on here to the police? Alex, what they're claiming is that in Switzerland, and I believe this is true because I've read it before, if you're not a Swiss citizen, if you're an immigrant or a tourist, they can demand your ID. Whether they can hold it is another question. No, I understand. I understand that. The issue is the New York Times, as you know, 3 years ago, doing a review of the New World Order film on IFC, said that I was delusional, having hallucinations at the Chantilly Marriott while Bilderberg was meeting, and that Obama wasn't there, Hillary wasn't there, nobody was there. You know, they said we were insane. So, and that's still said by our media. So we need, they'll just say, oh, that's a shot of a hotel. We need, they want to keep their hoax going. Remember, just a few years ago, this still didn't exist. More and more, they're having to admit it, while at the same time saying it doesn't exist because they have pure disdain for their readers. So I'll talk to you during the break. Now, Paul, continuing before you get that live shot and photo shots for everybody at Infowars.com and watching at PrisonPlanet.tv, and all the radio listeners, go to Infowars.com and follow this video and everything that's happening. Again, 21st century cutting edge media. Years ago, these technologies didn't work well enough for us to use them a lot. Now they're really working well. Very, very exciting. This really evens the playing field to a great extent towards the dinosaur media. Let's talk about the breaking news that Swiss papers are reporting that they're choosing the new IMF head at this meeting. That's something that should be in our news here with Dominique Strauss-Kahn dominating news coverage. Well, the thing is that Swiss newspapers yesterday reported that Bilderberg had no power, and yet today we picked up newspapers, and the main headline was the fact that Bilderberg is choosing the new IMF head to replace Strauss-Kahn. And we showed the front page of the newspaper on our video broadcast earlier, which is on Infowars and Prison Planet, and it's just another indication that they do have real power and they exercise it on a regular basis, much to the chagrin of debunkers who often claim otherwise. So basically, the majority of the Swiss newspapers are now reporting on it, and it's on the front page of two major Swiss newspapers that Bilderberg are deciding the new IMF head to replace Strauss-Kahn. Now, Paul, you guys have two video cameras, two cell phone cameras. You, I guess, is Aaron jacked into Justin TV because we're not getting feeds right now? Aaron's on his way up yet. They won't let you park near the security area. They make you park further away. Aaron's here now, and he's going to be filming more video for Justin TV.
All right, the number one thing we need before you go up the hill is for you to get up-close photos of the police and security. Or the New York Times will say again that we are literally schizophrenics. Now this is how dumb their readers are. That Alex Jones at an empty hotel, imagining men hiding behind trees, and that there's no one there. They will say there's no one there. They don't care if it's all over the Swiss papers. We've got to have photos of the cops with the submachine guns, or they'll say they don't exist. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Stay there, Watson. They're only intermittent. We have a live Twitter feed of photos pouring in that Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com reporters Aaron Dykes and Paul Joseph Watson are getting live from Bilderberg 2011. We're getting more from Tucker, who has inside sources. It's also being confirmed by the major Swiss press, but news blackout here in the United States that the new IMF head may be from Mexico. We've got his name. Kurt Nimmo is going to get that up in the next 20 minutes. The only mega large media outlet that is alternative media but is bigger than most mainstream media is the Drudge Report. We are behind the scenes in contact with their editors, and so look for that coverage there. Breaking news. So the best place to hear the continual coverage of live radio, live video mixes, and photos will be at Infowars.com on the section that Matt Ryan is going to be continually updating, exclusive live video and photos from Bilderberg, continually updated. Why is this so important? They're so powerful. For 50 years, they kept it secret. Only the last 5 or 6 did they have to admit that it was real. And that's why this is so important. Paul Watson, give us more intel on specifically who they're looking on trying to install as the new head of the IMF, our banker owners.
There wasn't any information that I could see. Obviously, we don't read German as to who it was. But the headline was, Bilderberg to choose successor for Strauss-Kahn. And that's what we worked out from the translation, which was in the newspaper.
Yeah, well, we've got sources as well, and Kurt's translating it. Yes, it looks like they may pick. We're going to have that name and more information. Kurt gave it to me during the break, but all of this is unfolding. And what's important is they decide when the Berlin Wall goes down. They decide when to launch a new war. We've gotten their internal documents before. This is as close to the secret, smoky, New World Order mafia room as it gets. Watson, we're going to have you live with a full report coming up in an hour and a half, or about an hour and 20 minutes from now, a little bit into the third hour today via video Skype, joining us with Aaron Dykes as you collate more of this information. We'll continue to check in with you in the next 30 minutes as things develop via cell phone, and we'll continue to watch the live feeds at Infowars.com that we have embedded, but any other tidbits of intel you can relay to the worldwide listeners as you cover the Global Crime Syndicate meeting.
Yeah, we were talking to Jim Tucker, and we broadcast one of these videos on Justin TV, which should be archived, and he was relating the fact that his sources are telling him that Bilderberg is petrified about the resistance within Congress to their conquest of Libya. And of course, we've had Rand Paul in recent weeks demanding that Obama legally justify the attack, because of course it's gone over 60 days, which is in the War Powers Act, that's unconstitutional. So Jim Tucker says that Bilderberg are petrified of the fact that the resistance to that is building within Congress, and that it may derail their plans for Libya. He also said that Bilderberg are planning a gigantic war in the Middle East, which of course would stretch beyond Libya and engulf the whole area. So that's on the agenda again.
And by the way, Jim came out 3 months before and said Bush will endorse within 6 months carbon taxes. Everybody laughed at him. Happened. Jim said the Berlin Wall will fall and called the month. Margaret Thatcher will be fired. Called it. Later she talked to him on record, said, yes, they ran me out. He really has multiple sources. I'm getting chills right now. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the people steering our planet, and they are scared. They are upset by the demonstrators. They're upset by the coverage. We've got the intel streaming in from our sources right now. Paul Watson, anything else that Jim told you from his sources?
We've got the video just in TV. There were numerous things, but those were the main ones. I've got Aaron Dykes here if you want to get some words from Aaron.
Yeah, let's do that. We're going to come back from break and go to Aaron in the long segment. Matt Ryan, we're going to put you on hold, Paul. Thank you. Paul Watson reporting from Switzerland and St. Moritz under police guard there, the globalist criminals, the mafia being guarded by the police from the evil media. Matt, the globalists who have put Switzerland having its sovereignty destroyed on the front burner, by the way. There's the enemy of Switzerland right there in any sovereign country. Matt Ryan, give us an update. You're going to be continually today updating, so is Kurt Nimmo, this special video page that's going to have all the archive clips and the live feeds there. One-stop shop, Infowars.com.
Yes, basically it's going to be a collaboration of all of our coverage of Bilderberg from start to finish live. Our live stream is embedded in there. We also have the Twitter feed at Real Alex Jones on Twitter. That is embedded into that page, so you can go to one page, you can get all the information, see the updates as they come out. And that'll be in addition to all of the coverage that's done by Kurt Nimmo, Paul Watson, Steve Watson, and the others.
I'm really proud of this team, Matt Ryan.
I'm proud to be part of it.
Well, you're kicking serious hind end. And Matt Ryan is also a writer for a major technology publication, but we'll be working more with him in the future in his deep investigations of Google. That is some groundbreaking bombshell info. That's coming up in the next few weeks with Matt Ryan and others here on air with us. We'll be right back with more with Matt Ryan and our reporters in Switzerland. Stay with us. At the bottom of the mountain, up on the mountain, Bilderberg Group meeting, openly getting ready for their new IMF head, openly planning a gigantic new war in the Middle East, on record fomented by Western governments, the U.S., Israel, and England, openly fomenting the Arab Spring. 2012, 2011, Bilderberg coverage, and so much is happening. Meanwhile, the news is insane, and that's all coming up with Gerald Celente later. We have the new generation of the naked body scanners. We have incredible economic news unfolding. SWAT team breaks down man's door over student loans. We have Americans being arrested everywhere for credit card debt. Debtor prisons are illegal. The Department of Education now has federalized local police that will bust down your door, and they kidnapped the guy for 6 hours over student loans. The bankers are coming. The bankers are coming. Paul Revere, 240-something years ago, said the redcoats are coming. No, ladies and gentlemen, the banksters are coming. Not your local bank, not your credit union that are real banks. The big mega global 6 banks, the big mega 5 banks in the U.S., Goldman Sachs, J.P. Morgan. These are people like Bank of America that control the issuance of the currency and credit worldwide, and their leaders, their heads, are meeting with royalty right now to decide the future of our world, and our brave, dogged reporters, our gumshoe, straw hat reporters are on the scene. They're covering it. We're showing live video. They drove up the hill past the police checkpoints that are at the entrance and are attempting to get people shots. There is Aaron Dykes in the video that prisonplanet.tv viewers can watch. Also, we have the free video feed at Infowars.com. Embedded in the article, exclusive live video and photos from Bilderberg, continually updated right now. Get this link out to everybody. Also follow the video feeds at twitter.com/RealAlexJones. That Twitter feed is there at Infowars.com. U.S. funding for future promises lags by trillions. USA Today. OPEC talks break down. No deal to lift oil supply. That means oil prices will only go up. China warns U.S. debt default idea is playing with fire. Associated Press. This is red level. Reuters. Similar headline. Gold, little change after Bernanke comments. Bernanke speaks, stock market plunges. I mean, this is insane. And all over the country, every day I see articles now, arrested for debts. And then it turns out they're not even allowed to do it by law. They will announce court dates, never tell the person to be there, and then arrest them for failure to appear, and then intimidate them. There are police, they're up close to the militarized police there that are at another one of the entrances. There is the hotel where they're meeting. We take you now live to St. Moritz, Switzerland, where the crime syndicate that has engineered a global black hole of debt, 1.5 quadrillion, 1,500 trillion, impossible, hundreds of times the wealth in the world, cannot be paid back. sucking the country dry, $27 trillion. Most of it went to foreign banks. As we told you for years, we were right. Now admitted in the Bloomberg suit, getting the documents. Do you realize there are the criminals? There are the people openly wanting world government, openly wanting carbon taxes to shut down all their competition and selectively let GE heads who do attend these meetings be able to have the only power plants, to only let Obama supporters and globalists not have to buy the insurance. Aaron Dykes, they're reporting from Switzerland as World War III is prepared in the Middle East openly, Rand Corporation calling for it, as the dollar plunges, as they talk about dollar default, as Moody's and S&P say it may default, as everything begins to accelerate. There you are. And where is the international mainstream media? Nowhere to be seen. Swiss news with insiders reporting they're preparing to pick the new IMF head, not the governments of Europe and the U.S., but the corporate leaders. This is incredible. Aaron Dykes, I mean, I'm excited, folks. You get excited about football games, folks, in the pregame. I get excited about my children's future and identifying the globalists, because if we identify them and not their front puppets, as Brzezinski said last year, as he warned the CFR that the world was awakening, it's over. They can't commit these crimes. People are rioting worldwide, from Greece to Iceland to Portugal, to Spain, to Ireland. The Irish Times says Ireland is being conquered by private banks. We must stop the bailouts, which are, again, the bankers say they owe this. Our pension funds are all tied into it. They hold us hostage and say, give us unlimited trillions, pay us carbon taxes, or we'll destroy you. Aaron, you are there in the belly of the beast. I salute you. Tell us what's happening.
Alex, I'm here surrounded 360 degrees by the beautiful Swiss Alps, next to the biggest hotel, the Hotel Souvretta, overlooking the rest of the area here in San Moritz. They've got private security as well as police. They say the private security's been here since yesterday, our sources tell us. They have makeshift surveillance cameras on every rooftop and sub-rooftop. They have floodlights, I guess, so they can see if anyone is sneaking around. They've got ID checkpoints, a cordon set up all around the perimeter. They've even tried to block off part of the view at the security checkpoint, where they have a trailer set up for the limos to come through, so the attendees can't be easily photographed as they come in. And it's quite a scene. We've got We Are Changers here from here in Switzerland and elsewhere in Europe. Right now there's a couple dozen. They're expecting as many as 200 to even 500 later in the week. So we'll see how that plays out. But they also say some of the attendees have already arrived. Others obviously will be coming in tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, I saw some of the Maybach, Super Mercedes, and others going in. I've seen those before. They're there. And if we see diplomatic cars coming in, you know, Hillary's in Europe right now with her special friend. That's a whole other scandal. That is the wife of Wiener. So Wienergate's only the tip of the Wienergate. We've got all that happening. This is so huge. And we've got Tucker and others with inside intel. Give us some of the things that our inside sources are telling us are on the agenda. Some years, Tucker's source even sends him the internal agenda report. Get that, immediately get it out. Folks can also follow it at AmericanFreePress.net. Give us your report, Aaron.
Well, of course, a lot of it, Paul Watson just relayed to you, but of course they do want a wider war, according to Tucker's sources, and it makes perfect sense. They've primed the field with the Arab Spring and the semi-nonviolent, although, of course, a lot of violence behind the scenes, kind of under the covers. The hot war in Libya, which is likely to expand further, and obviously they're looking at Syria and other locales surrounding the Iran point on the map. Of course, we also have the Dominique Strauss-Kahn news breaking that they're looking to replace. By way of parallel, you remember a couple years ago, Paul Wolfowitz had his own sex scandal for hiring his mistress at the World Bank. He stepped down just before that year's conference at Bilderberg, and they reportedly did choose his successor there in the meeting, which ended up being, of course, Robert Zoellick, head of the World Bank.
Unbelievable. And Kurt's got the intel through our sources that they're looking at a particular finance minister out of Mexico to head up the IMF. That would be a big shakeup, because when they go through these rounds, it's just like Bilderberg only comes to the U.S. every 4 years. 3 of the 4 years they meet in continental Europe or England. Now the word is usually only 1 out of 4 years or rounds of IMF head position. Will it be an American? So if it's a Mexican, that'll show another major North American Union move.
Yeah, that is a huge development because, of course, the World Bank traditionally goes to an American, the IMF traditionally to a European. So if they were to bring Mexico under the fold, that is quite an expansion and obviously a sign they want to partner with other developing nations and bring more people into the centralized global government system.
Aaron, we're going to continue to check in with you, and coming up in the 3rd hour, we're going to do a video Skype from the hotel. I may actually change that and just have you guys from the site continue to report, and then perhaps do a overdrive with you guys today. For those that don't know what overdrive is, it's up on the satellites if stations want it, but it's also at prismplanet.tv, the audio and video streams at Infowars.com. So play it by ear. I'll let you know in the next 45 minutes, talking to you off air, whether you want to stay there at Bilderberg or go to your hotel to start filing your reports and also doing the video feeds. But we've got so much news here. There's a media blackout in the United States. Drudge is the only place on Monday that did carry our report about the high-level Swiss politician, basically a member of their Congress, calling for Kissinger's arrest if he shows up. So we're waiting for Drudge.
And he's indicted in France also.
And he's
also been indicted in France.
And under EU rules, he should be arrested, but Switzerland kept his sovereignty. So then the globalists can still come into there. The power of sovereignty is a double-edged sword. Of course, the EU is not going to arrest Kissinger to begin with, but who knows what could happen. We'll continue to watch that. We've got another headline that needs to get out, that there is a high-tech surveillance grid of police and makeshift cameras, that they are planning a gigantic war, that they're looking at the new IMF head. They're pushing they're worried that there's an awakening in Congress to Obama saying that the Libyan war would last days, not weeks. Now they're saying it'll last into Christmas, into next year, maybe for years, as long as it takes. And again, we've got video feeds right now of Aaron joining us on air. Let's continue with that shot. With the Swiss Alps in the background. I envy you guys, but I've got to stay here in the rear with the gear and direct all of this. Aaron, continuing, any other points that you'd like to add for folks?
Well, you know, it's hard to know offhand how clear the video is. These tripods.
It's crystal clear.
Surveillance cameras. Can you hear me?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Just to be clear, in case the video is not, they have these surveillance cams on makeshift tripods really about every 10 to 20 feet on every ledge, every sub-rooftop of this enormous and very gorgeous hotel. So that's very interesting.
Ask Paul, who's shooting live video right now for viewers at Infowars.com, to center the camera, because you can't really zoom with that while you're streaming. Center the camera with...
Center on those tripods.
Yeah, center on the tripods, and people can then focus in and see the cameras. Is that what looks like a lamppost right there? Is that the cameras you're talking about?
There's lampposts in the foreground. Beyond that, you'll see a short ledge with a building that is at its highest point about 10 feet, at its lowest point only about 4 feet.
Yeah, tell Paul.
Surveillance tripod is there.
Tell Paul.
Zoom in if you can and center on those cameras, please.
Yeah, and tell Paul to stay there. I want you to step in front of him for folks watching.
Stay on that.
And step in front of Paul.
Stay on that and let me step in front of it.
And then point.
He's going to back up just a bit because we're right up against this cordoned off zone here. But as you can see behind me, there are the makeshift surveillance cams, which I have not seen at the previous years. And in addition to the surveillance cams, every few feet, every 10 or 20, they have floodlights just to make sure, obviously, that they're seeing everything that's going on.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting development. And
yeah, because media is so dangerous and so evil compared to the globalist criminals. Okay, we see you, Aaron. Point directly to where it's at.
Okay, you can see here the first surveillance cam, and then behind it on the higher ledge, there's another one. Next to it, a bank of lights. Behind that, off to the right, a second bank of lights. Further off to the left, more banks of lights, more surveillance cams, all on these lower ledge roofs. And that's just, of course, what's visible, because we know they have snipers in place, smaller cameras surveilling for the ceilings. Obviously, it's an extremely high security zone.
All right, I'm going to make a call right here. Let's go ahead and do the third hour with you guys via video Skype. But if you're not ready by then, we'll just push it to the last half hour. I see you got the high-powered 35mm lens there. That's what your support folks paid for, so we can able to bring you this hardcore coverage, this cutting-edge 21st century coverage. Get shots of the cops with that super high-def 35mm. Get shots of the floodlights. Get shots of it all. Get back. File blurb reports at InfoWars and Prison Planet as articles. We'll then take those and put them into master articles for Drudge and others that I know are standing by for this breaking news coverage. So spend another 20 minutes there and then get back to the hotel and file your reports, because obviously you could also take Twitter photos with your, how many megapixels are those iPhones? And then here at our office right now, we could blow up the still photos that you're posting at our Twitter feed at Infowars.com, and then we can blow those up here and get that out to people as well. And you're in the field, Aaron. I'm just the general back here at Command Base Delta. What do you want to do? That's my idea. But you're in command there on the ground. What do you want to do?
Oh, I think that makes perfect sense, Alex. So.
Well, no, I mean, you think that's a good idea?
Yeah, we'll stake this area out for another 20 minutes, and then we will head back to the hotel for a high-quality connection for later in the program. And I'm sure by then we're going to know even more, because there's limos constantly coming in. A lot of them are empty, but I believe they keep them in a continuous loop. That way any arrivees don't have to be inconvenienced, for one thing. Also, if they need to access other areas without being seen, you know.
Now, do we have we have the 2000 Super Zoom video camera? Obviously, you guys are staking out a good place to start early in the morning when the global scum arrives in mass. Just like I got footage of Queen Beatrix and David Rockefeller and others. So obviously, find a good catbird seat.
Right.
You can get on a mountaintop and zoom in on their faces with that camera we got.
Yeah, it's an excellent camera, and it's worth noting, by the way, there's no true freedom of the press or freedom of speech here. The police are asking for passports in many cases, and we've learned from our sources, if you refuse, you can be arrested on the spot. So that's another aspect of the police state area.
Yeah, they took Luke's passport for 30 minutes.
Yeah, that's right.
Did you witness that happen?
That was before we got here, but he told us about it.
Absolutely incredible. Well, that's an important thing. RT's there and working for RT reporter, a passport taken, which for those that don't know, that means he was detained because he couldn't travel or get out of Switzerland without it.
And they did threaten to arrest him, from what I understand.
Okay, well, we need to get all that intel to Kurt, who I know is listening. So, RT reporter, we need to add that as update blurbs to your article, Matt Ryan. RT reporter, passport confiscated, detained, threatened with arrest, and that was for simply walking up to the police line and talking to them?
Yeah, that's just for standing in an area very similar, very close to where I'm standing right now, Alex.
Meanwhile, Obama offers bailout for Greece, which means a bailout to Goldman Sachs, J.P. Morgan, that the president of Greece on the Goldman Sachs payroll, their former finance minister, they set all this up 2 years ago, bragged about it. That's been in mainstream news. And so more of our tax money to Goldman Sachs and J.P. Morgan for their hundreds of billions in profits and bonuses. This is insane. Aaron, you were about to say something?
And, of course, all those banks that were bailed out, or at least a great deal of them, were directly CEO'd or chaired by members of the Bilderberg steering group, Barclays, Royal Bank of Scotland, the list goes on and on. People like Peter Sutherland, who was also BP and Royal Dutch Shell chairman. Those guys ran failed banks, and they got bailed out, and now they're the ones profiting from it, of course.
Well, Aaron, I know, do you have a mini tripod to put that iPhone on it? You could zoom in there and get some photos of that and Twitter it right now to the InfoWars Twitter feed. Get that done, do whatever else you want, and get back to base and start filing reports. Filing reports comes before you joining us via video Skype. Stand by. I'll give you directions during the break. We'll come back with Matt Ryan, then Gerald Celente coming up. Tons of global news up there on the side of the mountain over where Bilderberg Group is meeting, is just popping in with us for a few minutes. He'll be back later today with Aaron and Paul Watson, all reporting. He is an RT Russia Today reporter, of course, founder of the organization We Are Change, anti-globalist organization. Briefly, Luke, tell us how they took your passport, why they did it, what happened.
I mean, as soon as I came here, I started making a little bit of noise. I tried to actually walk in there to have a dinner, and I got shoved by one of the police officers. And then 30 to 40 minutes after that, a whole bunch of police officers ran up on the crowd and demanding passports. They came up right to me and they were like, "We want his passport. We want to see your documents," in their language, and we had somebody translate. I asked them why, and we were informed that if we do not give our IDs when asked, even without probable cause, that we will be sent to jail here in Switzerland. That's how tyrannical here the police are acting right now. And they actually took my passport for about 30, 40 minutes, documented, wrote it down, and I guess I'm yet on another database somewhere. So that's what happened here.
I hear the private security company has an all-seeing eye as their symbol.
Yeah, it's pretty Orwellian here. I mean, it's pretty crazy with the surveillance cameras and lights that they're setting up here. There's police officers all over the place. They even put up a white tarp so nobody could take photographs of the cars coming in here, just like we, previously documented Madeleine Albright.
They're rolling out the red carpet for the banksters to take all their stolen loot from us and bank it there. And you did catch, of course, Bernanke there years ago in Virginia, Madeleine Albright. So they're really rolling out the red carpet for them, it looks like, compared to anything we've ever seen, Luke.
Exactly, and even I'm here talking to We Are Change Switzerland. They're telling me that this is a public street that they're blocking off. They're having private security teams working with the Swiss military and Swiss police blocking off a public sidewalk right here, threatening people with arrest. And we've been informed there's no freedom of speech here. There's no, we have pretty much no rights here, so we have to be pretty careful. But we're still going to stand our ground, and we're going to document everything as we can, and we're going to try to send a message to these elitist banksters who are trying to rule this world right now that we're not going away, and we're going to expose them as much as we can.
Oh, this is the criminals. History's being made there, the resistance and the crimes they're committing inside the violation of the Logan Act with U.S. officials that go. Luke, we're going to be talking to you today if we can and over the next few days. Great job. God bless you. Folks can find him at Luke Rudkowski, We Are Change, at Facebook. God bless and be safe, Luke.
Thank you, brother.
All right, there goes Luke Rudkowski. Going back to Matt Ryan, we got Gerald Celente coming up about 5 after, 8 after next hour. I got incredible global news. You've worked here a few years, Matt Ryan. It gets crazier and crazier every day now, where it's just, I've got literally over 100 articles here today that I could talk all day just about one of these. And there are the people that are setting it all up at this meeting. They're running things illegally, and there are the cops worshiping them.
Right, and they're setting up basically a big ship, and they're saying you have to be one of us to be allowed to be on this ship while the rest of the world drowns. But you know what? Ships leak, and even the Titanic can sink. So we're going to be there. We're down on the ground, and believe me, if there's a leak, we're going to find it.
Well, we've got intel inside as well. We've got incredible breaking news. We've got a codified articles. Tell the radio listeners and satellite listeners out there about Infowars.com and this special page that you're continually updating.
Basically, there's a page up on Infowars.com, and the title of it, I'm sorry.
Exclusive live video and photos from Bilderberg, continually updated.
Right. On the top of the page, you'll see a live video from Justin.tv, which is basically Aaron Dykes, Paul Watson, and the rest are down there, and they're transmitting live throughout this conference. Right below that, you'll see the Twitter feed from Real Alex Jones on Twitter, and they are tied into that. And if there's a photo or anything, they need to get out in a hurry. It's going to the Twitter. So you'll be able to find that on that page, and right below that, all the articles we have about it, all the photos that are taken, everything in archives are going to be on that page. It's a one-stop shop. Get the word out. Spread it. Get that link out to as many people as you know, and let's spread the word about this.
Absolutely, because we're seeing a media blackout here in the United States. Let's break the blockade. We've done it before. We're going to do it again. We're going to do a keyword search coming up. Haven't done that in over a month. Developments. Obama wants to get more of your tax money to, quote, bail out the Greeks. The Greeks are being sucked dry. They don't owe the lion's share of the money. They tied their pension funds into the IMF and World Bank private banking consortium, and they're holding everyone hostage. And the criminals that are running this are meeting in St. Moritz, Switzerland. We've got two of our great dogged reporters. We've got Paul Watson of PrisonPlanet.com, Aaron Dykes of Infowars.com, with live video streaming, photos, all going up on the Twitter feed. It's all available at Infowars.com, exclusive live video and photos from Bilderberg, continually updated. So it's all there and available to everyone right now. Please get that link out to everyone you know. We're going to have in that one section all the new articles, all the new research, all the new breaking intel coming out as it unfolds. Then we have incredible footage of the Department of Education with local federalized police SWAT teaming someone for their wife's being behind on student loans. That's illegal. The debtor prisons are illegal. I mean, it is getting insane. We've got open USA Today, you name it, talking about the end of the dollar, defaults on trillions. The bankers do this. They implode you, then they take over even more. We've got just so much happening. And then I've got other bizarre articles up at Infowars.com confirmed from the Idaho Statesman. A big boil down on this from the American Dream. China wants to construct a 50-square-mile self-sustaining city south of Boise, Idaho. This is what Mexico and the North American Union have tried to do in Kansas City. This is the new model of these globalist free trade zones where they're above the laws, nothing gets searched, they can bring in whatever they want, they can leverage out all the local businesses. It's the same model of the insiders being above the law and basically having diplomatic immunity. These are diplomatic zones. And it's the same thing with the too big to fail banks getting our tax money, General Electric chairing the Economic Commission in the White House, getting a waiver for their power plants nobody else does as the government shuts down their competition, Obama giving waivers to thousands of big companies that give him money where they don't have to get insurance, but we do for our employees. I mean, it is total mafia takeover. That's what world government is government by a corrupt corporate mafia who are waging war against the free market system. This is so off the charts. And to see the incredible expense of the militarized Swiss police, going after the citizens like they're scum. The Swiss people are good folks, and they have a good Second Amendment system that our Second Amendment's based on. But there you see it the same as every other country, but Switzerland's a little bit different. They are one of the main hoarding zones of these criminals' money. That's why the criminals haven't forced Switzerland into the EU yet and haven't forced it into globalism yet, because they want a place to hide out. So there they are, where they take much of their stolen loot. These individuals, many of them make billions a year through these brokerage firms and banks. They steal from us on record, and they haul it back to Switzerland, and here are the globalists protecting them. So you know why I didn't announce that Aaron Dykes and Paul Watson were going to be on the ground. I wanted them, that was even guarded here in the office. I have real trouble keeping things secret. That's why I said we're going to have our guys reporting on the reporters that are going to be there. Aaron Dykes and Paul Watson. And my wife heard it and basically took it that they would be there a few days ago. So I just really can't even lie when I try, folks. But the point is, this is big news, and we're fighting back. And if we can get the world to awaken to these people, there's a reason the controlled globalist dinosaur media doesn't want you to know they're there. One of the other agendas last year and reportedly this year is how to take over the internet, how to shut down free speech, because they can't have us identifying them as the criminals that have done it. If we can identify these people to the general public, remember just 4 or 5 years ago it didn't exist. The media would make fun of you for this. Just 3 years ago, the New York Times said I was crazy and didn't cover Bilderberg, okay? Because they're desperate to keep this information from you. They're desperate. Gerald Salente coming up.
He's the T-Rex of political talk. Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network.
We are live. So much is happening. The world really is awakening. You know, I'm the keynote speaker. Past keynote speakers have been Rush Limbaugh, Sean Hannity. I'm told some of those folks are going to be there at Talker's main event in New York Friday and Saturday. I'm speaking Saturday morning as the keynote speaker of the event, March 2001. They did the cover story, Alex Jones, keynote speaker, fastest growing radio show in the country, according to analysis that's been done. A lot of folks claim they're the fastest this, the fastest that. We are. And that's why we have such incredible responsibility. And I couldn't have done any of this without my great team. I couldn't have done any of this without you, the listeners, spreading the word. And we are going to have, we already have incredible video reports, live streaming video, the live Twitter feed with high-def photos. And we've got all this breaking news. It's going to be codified into articles. We're streaming live video of the guys driving around the Bilderberg Group Hotel, where the Global Crime Syndicate is meeting in St. Moritz. The police did detain for 40 minutes Luke Radowski, and RT reporter, and took his passport and threatened to arrest him and interrogated him. So that's big news that we're going to get Kurt Nimmo to get a blurb out on. We're going to do, coming up at the bottom of the hour, we haven't done this in a month, a Google bomb. But I need to get an article out with it in the headline before I choose the term. Start your engines collectively to rush the globalist. We've got that happening. But a lot of the people attending this have indictments out on them, like Henry Kissinger in France. And one of the top members of their government, the equivalent of their Congress, it was in Swiss News Monday, Drudge picked up our article on it, called for the arrest of Henry Kissinger for the convictions he has in some countries for war crimes, and the French indictment. Of this year, George Soros can't go because of all of the indictments and convictions in Europe on him. I mean, this is a mafia. This is, people think of the mafia as some Italians sitting around in a farmhouse. That's a low-level mafia. Okay, this is the Dutch royalty, the British royalty, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers. These are the people that Obama is calling for hundreds of billions more of U.S. taxpayer money to, quote, bail out Greece. But it's admitted in Greece and in Europe, 91% of it is not owed by the Greek people. Their pension funds are tied in to the investments Goldman Sachs and others who took over their government 2 years ago, set them up to fall. Now they're taking the country over. Some brokerage heads, one guy who's owed $3 billion, is getting huge islands individually from the government. He sells them fraud, controls their government, Papandreou, and then has them handed all over to them. That's how evil these people are. They're the ones that want global population reduction. They're the ones that want all of this. They're the people that admittedly want to shut down the free press, and openly we've gotten their documents where they want it. They're the ones that want a global government, and our people are covering it there right now in Switzerland. We'll have continual coverage of that at Infowars.com and launching a major initiative. I am announcing, and we need to get Steve Watson on the horn via his cell phone because he's staying in England because I got Kurt covered up right now. And you get Steve Watson on the horn right now to get this out at Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. And I got the idea for this looking at Twitter comments and looking at Infowars comments during the break. People are saying, where are the Swiss? They're pro-gun, anti-globalist people. They play both sides of it, you know, letting the globalists also nest there while they keep them at arm's length. You know, it's a place the globalists keep safe for themselves. Why don't we call for a protest for Swiss and other Europeans that are upset Saturday at high noon in that town, St. Moritz, there in Switzerland? Let's call for everybody peacefully to be there, and call for everyone listening to contact national U.S., British, Swiss, German, Dutch, French, Flemish, all of them. Call them and tell them, be there, cover this. This is happening. Let's have a mass viral movement against this. Get the article that's up at Infowars.com that'll be continually updated. Exclusive live video and photos from Bilderberg, continually updated. Other big article, Bilderbergs may give green light to Mexican central banker as new IMF boss, by Kurt Nimmo. And he's got an even bigger report with the inside agenda, the first section that we just got. Please. Now, here's the deal. Here's going to be the key search term. It will link through to the article we write. It will link through to any of your websites that write about this. I don't care about Infowars just getting the traffic. I want the traffic because the truth is at Infowars. The truth lives in Infowars, as other people are now adopting our nomenclature. That's fine. Nothing succeeds like success. Imitation is the most sincere form of flattery. You know, innovation breeds copiers. Good. That's what I want. Listen, let's make it the #1 search term. Bilderberg protest. Bilderberg protest. 2 words. Bilderberg protest. Go to, and by the way, the head of Google every year, and the former head Schmidt is probably there. And the current head of Google, they're always there. You need to expose them. Bilderberg, and if it doesn't show up as #1, you know they're censoring it. Bilderberg protest. You go to Google, you enter it over and over and over again in the search box. You just enter it, hit enter, put the cursor back in it so it's a new search. Enter, 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 enter. Let's drive it to #1. Bilderberg protest. Bilderberg protest. Hit them hard. Hit them hard. Let's push Bilderberg protest to #1. I'll get Steve Watson to do an article in the next 3 hours before this becomes #1 search term about Alex Jones is calling on people and press to break the economic news blockade of how these people are robbing us, to break the blockade of how they're setting up the next round of bailouts, which are really robberies to the bankers, and how we're calling on people everywhere to converge peacefully. We have to add that. How dare us go to the criminals and, converge peacefully. We need Swiss citizens especially that can't be pushed around by the Swiss police. We need everybody to converge. Everybody. I'm tempted to jump on an airplane. I was going to go, by the way, but I can't back out on the talkers thing. I'd already decided to do that. I'm going to speak Saturday. I was going to go, be there for the first day, Thursday, the official day, fly back Friday, and get back Saturday morning. But I could show up late and miss something I've already confirmed I'll do. So I'm Joseph Watson joining us from nearby the Bilderberg Group meeting. He was on site earlier. He's going to go back soon. But Paul Watson, thanks for joining us.
Good to be here, Alex.
What did you see in the time after we talked earlier from on site with your live video feed from the time you left? And just break down overall what you've witnessed today and what you think the most important developments are.
What happened afterwards was basically we just hung around for a little longer. There were groups of young people actually entering the Bilderberg compound, but we guessed that it's because they live further down in the area and they had credentials that they were wearing around their neck. They showed to the police and they were let in. Then after that, we were just talking to some more people and taking some more photographs. We left, and some ways down the road, a good probably half a mile down the road, there were more police with dogs. So it's not just around the hotel itself, they're on surrounding roads. As he stated earlier, Luke Radowski, and the video is up on Infowars.com, was asked for his passport, and they kept his passport for about half an hour before he got it back and basically told him, if you don't hand it over, we're going to arrest you. We weren't asked, we went right up to the security point where the barriers were. They didn't ask us for any ID. And at the moment, we're just getting all the high-quality photos posted on Infowars and Prison Planet.
Well, Paul, you don't know about this yet, but I've got your brother from London, Steve Watson, a master's in political science in his own right, and I point that out because he's one of the smartest people I know, along with Paul. Just great researchers. You're guys I can just call who immediately get it and already have a full spectrum understanding of what's going on. He's doing a report that'll go up on Prison Planet. We've got two big things breaking. We've got the agenda of Bilderberg from the Mole via Tucker and others, a large part of the agenda. We're trying to get an actual rundown. Sometimes Tucker's even able to get that from his mole, but the mole's got to sneak off site to do it. And that's another thing. You got to follow Tucker some because he's always got cars following him and spies outside his room. And he was shot at in Portugal. That was reported on by major newspapers in '99. So obviously you're going to go get the latest intel from Tucker. Keep filing reports on that. We've got all of this unfolding. Feel free to do more of the upload videos that you're doing that we have a live link up on Infowars.com of throughout the evening, throughout tomorrow. It officially kicks off tomorrow. But the big news, my friend, is I'm calling for a global protest against the austerity bankers who we know are meeting. They're at this event pushing for bigger bailouts, i.e. thefts for them. We know that that is happening. We know they're there trying to start the new war in the Middle East, a wider war. We know they're pushing for internet censorship. We know their agenda now, a large portion of it. And so we're going to have a massive protest Saturday at noon in St. Moritz, Switzerland. We're calling for the Swiss to come out. The redcoats aren't coming. The banksters are coming. We're calling for peaceful demonstration. We're calling for people to call the media, demand they be there, and for folks from all over Europe, instead of just protesting at police stations and being water cannoned, peacefully come here and say, there are the criminals. There are the people. A lot of Bilderberg people can't even go because there's indictments out. We'll see if Kissinger shows up. But that's the big announcement. Get it out to everybody. Everybody Twitter it, tweet it. Steve's going to have it out very soon at prisonplanet.com.
All to my room, so.
Okay, great. Aaron, you're now there on with Paul. Paul, what do you make of this announcement that we're going to have this big protest? And then talk about what you make of all this security and everything else that's happening.
Well, they 20 to 25 people there at the time that we went. And to be honest, from what I saw in Spain on the videos last year, and certainly Greece, if you remember Greece and Turkey, there were just mass protests in the streets, hundreds and thousands of people. So we definitely need more people there. Obviously, this is a remote area, and it takes a while to drive to from the airport, but we definitely need as many people as possible to throw the spotlight on these Bilderberg criminals that are meeting up in the mountains at the moment.
Now, Paul, again, I can rant all day and make my points, but we need everybody to get Twitters out, phone calls, news websites. The Google search term today, we've got to make it #1, Bilderberg protest. 2 words entered into Google and Yahoo and everywhere else over and over again. Everybody write your own articles. Get global attention onto this. Bilderberg protest. You can also reverse it and then say protest Bilderberg. Okay? Bilderberg Group a lot of times becomes the #1 search during this week anyways. So we're going to push it over the edge. It's become the #1 search term in the next hour or two. That's how it always works. Bilderberg protest. Protest Bilderberg. Reverse those two. But the first main term we're doing is Bilderberg protest. Put those words in. I'm even doing it myself during the break in the Google box. We need to make that #1 and the global call. And I want to make sure, I need to call Steve back to make sure in his article that he explains these are the bankers, these are the crooks. Why protest in your capitals? Your capitals have been bought off by these criminals. Go to where the real scum is this Saturday, high noon. That gives us 3 days to build up, Paul.
That's right. And if you're flying into Zurich Airport, it's about a 2.5-hour drive out there, and the scenery is just breathtaking. So even if you don't get anything else out of it, I mean, the place itself is beautiful, and it's just a shame that the people meeting here are not.
Well, France, of course, Austria and Italy are right there. We're talking hours from this. But in the Swiss, and we have a lot of listeners in Switzerland. We're rated as one of the top sites there. Get there. Go there. Go there. It's your right to say no to the criminals. The mafia's meeting. Let the world know we're not putting up with it. A lot of times the mafia hires communists to come out and protest to make folks look bad. Let's have true liberty patriots there explaining who's there. And I got to call Steve back. He's got to make sure in the article we explain these are the people bringing in another wave of economic implosion and global austerity. Paul, video can't capture what you see with your eyes. Any other observations? How were the police's mannerisms? What was their bearing? Were they robotic, or were they looking at you as if you were scum, or were they friendly?
They were giving us the eyeball, but on the whole, they didn't really harass us at all. They let us film, they let us video record. Other people were saying that there were police carrying around guns, but we didn't see any guns. Some of them appeared to have some kind of taser device, although that could have just been a baton.
The Swiss are the most heavily armed. Sorry, go ahead.
There were other people who were saying that there were people in the streets down in the actual town itself, because the hotel's up in the hills. There were secret police walking around asking for people's ID. That's what the journalists who were already there told us. But from what we saw, certainly if you compare it to what Charlie Skelton experienced in Greece, where he was constantly harassed, arrested, and followed around, the security and the police were reasonably kind to us in that they didn't harass us or ask for ID or anything. But of course, there's a long way to go.
Yeah, in the U.S. they did some of that and would try to tell us to turn the cameras off, but after we told them we weren't going to do it, then they behaved themselves in Virginia. And it's a shame that the cops are so willing to energetically protect literally a bunch of criminals. I mean, these people are globalist tyrants, and we're streaming video right now from Justin TV also of Luke talking about how he was detained for 40 minutes and had his passport taken. Stay on the line, Paul, but we've got Aaron Dykes there with us. Aaron, what are your observations at the first day, the prelude to the kickoff tomorrow morning of the Global Crime Syndicate meeting?
Well, Alex, to start with the literal, I'm literally looking at the hotel where the Bilderberg are staying right now from my hotel window, along with these gorgeous mountains. And frankly, like Paul was saying, I'd rather turn my attention to the natural beauty, but we can't ignore what they're doing on this planet and the way they're controlling. But one major contradiction, I did in fact see police with sidearms, and I'm not sure if the security also had them, but I definitely saw pistols And there was a baton, which may have also been one of those tasing baton devices. We don't know for sure.
But it's not the usual thing in Italy or in Spain or in Greece where they have submachine guns they shove in your face.
No, we haven't seen the submachine gun people here yet. Perhaps, tomorrow could be another day. If they're not there right now, they were not there earlier.
Well, I'll say this. I don't have a problem with the cops being like that in Switzerland because the citizens can run around with their fully autos and hand grenades, and they have the lowest crime rate in the world. So I think it's great. More guns, less crime. Other points, Aaron, that are key for folks to know.
Well, we're just obviously going to keep an eye on what's going on. We know the groups they're part of and how their agendas merge. So we're going to have those points come out. As you know, a lot of the talking points have come out from the past years of things they've discussed, and among it are the Arab Spring and the revolutions in the Middle East. They talked about that at 2010 in Sitka, Spain, and I really expect to see an escalation of that agenda for the rest of this year.
Amazing. I want to come back and talk strategy, but in the next 10, 15 minutes, Kurt, that's why we're going into overdrive for Internet listeners only at Infowars.com. That's why Kurt Nimmo is in there laboring on this big report that we've got the agenda from Tucker's mold. A lot of it's been confirmed by the Swiss papers that confirm they are deciding from their sources who the next IMF head will be. And reportedly they're looking at it being the Mexican bankster out of Mexico, the finance minister. We've also got the fact that they do want to have a larger conflagration, that they are stirring up the war in the Middle East as a political diversion. They're very upset that Congress is talking about standing up to Obama going to war with UN authority. I mean, it'd be bad if the president did it on his own. It's even worse to do it and say, I have UN authority and not talk to Congress. So that's going on. Their move to go after the alternative media, the fact that they're scared of the alternative media and the awakening to them. We've got a large part of it. Now, Tucker's going to get more Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We'll have continual coverage here for you, gentlemen. But when we come back, I want to get other key points from you. Then I'll go into the next hour, cover the latest breaking news, take some phone calls and some other news I haven't gotten to yet. But, gentlemen, we're about to go to break. Paul, what are some other tidbits we'll cover on the other side?
Well, there are numerous reports that have come out in the past few hours. There's one from Swiss Info. There's another from expatica.com. Of course, Charlie Skelton's put out a report. And most of them are quite generic, downplaying the event, so we can discuss how the media is covering this on the other side.
All right, stay there. Stand by. We've got the reporters. We've got the will. We've got the intel. And the big protest is on Saturday. Two big reports. This is a big deal, folks. We're going to have a global call to confront the actual criminals, not their puppet capitals in Europe, over the austerity. The lion's share of the European tax money and our tax money is going to these criminals. These are the engineers of our pain. And high noon in St. Moritz, Switzerland. If you're in Europe, folks, you need to be there. High noon, get there. That is the protest date. High noon, key Google search term. Google it right now. Put it in over and over again, a Google bomb. Bilderberg protest. And then you can reverse it and search it, protest Bilderberg. And that will lead them to the protest article that Steve Watson will soon get up at prisonplanet.com. I cannot stress to you how important this is. And soon, Kurt Nimmo will have his exclusive report. This is breaking here with more details than we've been given so far on the first portion of the agenda that we've gotten from a man who 100% has the intel. So this is huge. Going back to Aaron Dykes. Aaron, other points. I mean, this looks like more security, though, with cameras and a tarp to block the cars and all of this than and floodlights than we've seen at previous events.
Right. Take, for instance, Canada, where they use the backdoor ramp drop so they could hide a lot of their high-profile people, including, including Hillary Clinton. This year, they have the entrance checkpoint where they do the key validation, making sure the people are on the list, and they put up a barrier wall, keeping down the visibility so you can identify or easily take pictures. Then they've got roughly 150 yards, maybe even 200 yards to the main entrance. So it's quite receded. It's covered in trees. and they've really made it a challenge to photograph.
And this is our government representatives violating the Logan Act. Hillary was fined, what was it, $300,000 for this back in the mid-'90s. Going and meeting and hiding and then lying and being caught, not wanting the media to cover it, but usually it's only the alternative media covers it anyways. But I'm looking at these photos. You can get down the road with the zoom camera, zoom in, and still get shots of them at that checkpoint. There's more than one way to skin a cat in the info war, and we're going to get these videos. They'll undoubtedly also be toddling around in the resort below, and so you know what to do there. We're going to get the video and identify these criminals and their activities. Aaron?
Yeah, and they know we're watching them. I mean, the protesters that are here now are very visible, and if we get a lot more numbers, the message will clearly be sent. For those that do come to the village, it's quite small, so you will be seen, you will be heard. I would imagine there's a lot of places to stay. Of course, a few places are closed down because it's off-season from the ski resort, but there should be room to come on down, and you can literally see it. It's kind of up on the hill, the Master Hotel overlooking the lake that's part of the mountains here in St. Moritz. And so if they do leave the hotel, I would imagine they too will be easily seen, and I think it would be hard for them to hide, Alex.
Well, Aaron, I am calling on everybody. We need to make this big. We need the people of Europe and the world who are being robbed by these folks to actually go confront the people that are buying and selling our politicians. And also, everyone should pick newspapers and TV in Switzerland to call, but also international media, and demand they cover it. If you had 125 top media people or Hollywood folks meeting, it would be helicopters, the press, thousands of gawking spectators, but they try to run this electronic Berlin Wall and have this blackout. We've got to break that blackout in the American press. And that's another issue. Where's Bilderberg in the U.S. News? There's a blackout on that. Gentlemen, stay there. Let's do 5 minutes into the next hour. Coverage of the Global Crime Syndicate meeting in St. Moritz, Switzerland. We're now into internet-only overdrive. Well, we're on the satellite. Stations can pick this up if they want. We've been talking to Paul Watson. We're talking to Aaron Dykes. And we've got two big reports. The big announcement of the global protest to convene Saturday at high noon in St. Moritz, Switzerland, and big chunks of the super-secret Bilderberg agenda from the mole we've got through Tucker and others. And a lot of what Tucker's now said is also confirmed by a Swiss newspaper that a lot of big decisions are being made, as we knew. This is huge news. So that's all coming out very, very soon. I'll keep doing overdrive until I get the info and can cover it here. But, gentlemen, Paul Watson, so much to talk about. As soon as you hang up the phone, you're going to remember some issues you forgot to cover. What else is important that people need to know about what's happening?
Well, Alex, there was a kind of a red herring put out because everybody said that it was going to be at the Hotel Pinsky. When we drove into town, into St. Moritz, we drove directly past this hotel. And in fact, you can see it from this hotel window as well. And it was all shut down. There was nobody there, and that's what started the rumor in the first place, because people had tried to book rooms there 4 days during this Bilderberg conference, and that was the kind of herring. But they're actually way up on the hill, at a more secluded spot, which is what you would expect, because this Kapinski Hotel is right down, basically just outside the center of town. So it's no surprise that it is up at the Suvretta Hotel and not at the Kapinski, which is what many had reported beforehand.
Any other points, Paul?
No, Tucker said about the Libya thing, they're terrified of Congress stopping the bombing of Libya. They want a gigantic war in the Middle East, which is the same as what they said last year. Of course, we know they're still concerned about the Greek debt situation and the euro. We had Bilderberger Kenneth Rogoff come out and say that if the Greek debt situation is allowed to spiral into crisis, and if Greece defaults on its debt, then that could place in peril the euro and in turn the global currency, the regionalized currencies that the elite seek to implement. So they're still very much concerned about the collapse of the euro and the breakup of the European Union. The the newspaper, one of the newspapers we purchased this afternoon talks about a Swiss energy minister attending the conference, which is interesting because Switzerland has just agreed to decommission all its nuclear power plants by 2034. And this lady, Luthard, is a Swiss, and Doris Luthard, she's the Swiss energy minister, and she's been summoned to Bilderberg, and that's on the front page of the Bundner Tagblatt newspaper. So Bilderberg are obviously very concerned about the fact that their agenda with nuclear power could be coming to an end in the aftermath of Fukushima. So they've summoned this energy minister.
Well, how shameful is it that there's no coverage in the U.S. media except for the Drudge Report linking to us on Monday? I know Drudge is waiting for our big reports with the inside intel, but those will be out soon. So hopefully he'll help us break the electronic blockade, the no information zone they've tried to set up here in the United States. And so I'm Princess Leia, Drudge. Help me, Obi-Wan, Drudge. You're our only hope. Now, folks all over the world are listening. How exciting do you think this idea for the mass protest on Saturday is, Paul?
Well, it's big because, to be frank, there's not enough people there at the moment. I mean, the conference hasn't actually started yet. There were reports of a few members arriving, but we didn't see much evidence of that. There were, the black cars in evidence, but there were no passengers. So this thing hasn't even begun to kick off, so that's why people need to get down there, and they've still got time to do so.
Absolutely. We've got videos and audio being linked at our Twitter account, twitter.com/RealAlexJones. Please retweet everything. We've got the big data page with the videos archived, the live streaming videos, the photos, and so much more. Gentlemen, let me say bye to you during the break and talk to you about future planning.